Today we're diving headfirst into the blood-soaked world of Dying Light, the Beast, the upcoming standalone adventure that's bringing back our boy Kyle Crane from the dead. And I mean that literally, because if you played the following DLC, you know things didn't exactly end well for our parkour-loving protagonist. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more gaming deep dives. Follow me on Twitch for live gameplay and join the Discord so we can keep the conversation going 24/7. All links are in the description. Now let's get into it. Let's clear something up right away. This isn't Dying Light 3. I repeat, not Dying Light 3. But it's also not just some tiny DLC either. The Beast started life as DLC for Dying Light 2, but then someone at Techland must have chugged an entire case of energy drinks and said, you know what, let's make this its own thing. So here we are with what they're calling a standalone adventure. Basically the gaming equivalent of those spin-off movies that aren't quite sequels, but they're too big to be shorts. It's roughly a 15 to 20 hour experience set in the Dying Light universe that brings back Kyle Crane. Yes, that Kyle Crane from the original game. And honestly, that's probably the perfect length. I love Dying Light 2, but it takes 80 to 100 hours for a completionist level run. That's a lot of time to put into it. So when can you actually play this thing? Techland has announced a summer 2025 release window. No date yet, but hey, at least it's not coming when it's ready like we got for Dying Light's initial announcement. Remember that 5-year wait? My hair literally fell out waiting for that game. The Beast will launch on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. Yes, they're still supporting last-gen consoles, which is either really nice or really holding back the game's potential. Now here's where things get juicy. Kyle Crane is back. Our favorite GRE agent turned zombie slaying parkour expert returns after his, let's say, ambiguous fate at the end of the following. It turns out Crane has spent the last 13 years being held captive and experimented on by some sicko called the Baron. Real name Marius Fisher. This guy makes the GRE look like a charity organization. He's been pumping Crane full of zombie juice for over a decade as part of his grand vision to restore order to humanity. The game kicks off with Crane finally breaking free and understandably wanting to cave this dude's skull in with whatever blunt object he can find first. I mean, 13 years of being a lab rat? I would be a little mad too. The setting is in Castor Woods, a rural forest region that was once a tourist hotspot but is now, you guessed it, crawling with the undead. Think less urban parkour playground and more creepy backwoods with murderous zombie hillbillies. It's giving me serious Alan Wake meets The Last of Us 5s, and I'm here for it. This isn't the same Kyle Crane we knew and loved. After a decade of experiments, our boy's DNA is now intertwined with zombie DNA, which is basically scientific mumbo jumbo for he's part zombie now and can do cool stuff. The beast mode mechanic lets you temporarily tap into Crane's inner monster. You'll run faster, hit harder, and even throw objects like you're the Incredible Hulk's angrier cousin. But you can't just spam this power. It's on a cooldown, and overusing it might have narrative consequences. You know, the whole stare too long into the abyss thing? Except the abyss is inside you and wants to eat brains. And yes, Roger Crane Smith is back voicing Crane. The man himself said he was surprised to be asked back, considering what happened in the following. I'm guessing his agent got a call that went something like, hey, remember that character who either died or turned into a monster? Well, guess what? If you played Dying Light before, you know the drill. First-person parkour and brutal melee combat. But the Beast is tweaking the formula in some interesting ways. For starters, we're dealing with a more rural environment. There are fewer skyscrapers to scale, but Techland promises there's still plenty of vertical gameplay. They're saying there's almost no building you can just enter through the main door without using your parkour skills. So expect to be climbing trees, scaling cliffs, and leaping between cabins like a zombie apocalypse Tarzan. Since the map is more spread out, You'll also get a 4-wheel drive off-road vehicle to cruise around in. Yes, we're bringing back the buggy from the following, though hopefully with improved handling, because let's be honest, driving that thing sometimes felt like trying to steer a drunk elephant. The combat remains gloriously visceral with a new physics system that supposedly makes everything feel weightier and more brutal. And thanks to Crane's new powers, you can literally rip through hordes with your bare hands when in beast mode. Take that, Left 4 Dead. The day-night cycle that made the original so pants-wetting terrifying is back, and supposedly even more intense. Techland has specifically mentioned they're leaning heavily into survival horror, particularly at night. They tweaked the AI of volatiles, the monsters that made you race to a save zone like your life depended on it, because it did. Now imagine being caught in the middle of a dark forest with those things hunting you. I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. The devs are really emphasizing that survival feels uncertain in the beast. Resources are scarce, weapons can break, and any encounter could be lethal if you're careless. It's like they looked at how overpowered we became in Dying Light 2's endgame and said, yeah, let's make them scared again. Like previous Dying Light games, the beast supports 4-player co-op throughout the entire game. Everything's better with friends, especially zombie apocalypses. The difficulty scales dynamically when more players join, so don't think having 3 buddies will make this a cakewalk. The game actively encourages sticking together too. If players stray too far apart, it apparently throws extra hazards at you. Kind of like that friend who says, let's split up, in a horror movie and always dies first. No word yet on PvP mode like the Be the Zombie mode from the first game, so it seems the focus is purely on cooperative play. Probably for the best. I still have PTSD from night hunters pouncing on me when I was just trying to complete a quest. Here's where the development story gets interesting. The Beast wasn't originally planned as its own game. It started as DLC for Dying Light 2, but the plot leaked online in late 2023. Rather than just release it anyways, Techland pivoted and expanded it into a standalone adventure. During this process, someone had the brilliant idea to bring back Kyle Crane, and apparently this sparked so much excitement at the studio that the project took a life of its own. A classic case of happy little accident. Bob Ross would be proud. The franchise director has been particularly vocal how the Beast is letting them answer lingering questions from the first game and tie together the lore of the series. In other words, they're finally going to tell us what the heck happened to Crane after the following, and I couldn't be more ready for it. As of now, there's only a standard edition announced for the Beast. No fancy collector's editions with zombie statues or severed hand USB drives, at least not yet. Here's the interesting part though. If you own the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2 before September 30th, 2024, you'll get the Beast mode for free, I think. That's because the Ultimate Edition promised 2 story DLC, and since the Beast evolved from the second DLC, Techland is honoring that process. They actually removed the Ultimate Edition from digital stores after that date to prevent people from just buying it to get the Beast for cheap. Pretty fair move if you ask me. For everyone else, we're still waiting on pricing details, but industry insiders are speculating it will be in the $30 to $40 range given its scope. Pre-orders aren't live yet, so we don't know about any pre-order bonuses either. Just add it to your wish list for now and pray to the zombie gods that it doesn't get delayed. We've gotten 2 main trailers so far. The announcement trailer from Gamescom 2024 was more of a teaser, showing some poor soldiers getting absolutely wrecked by an unseen monster before revealing Crane with the line, "Every man has an animal within. If you push too much, you might unleash the beast." Subtle, right? The Game Awards trailer from December 2024 showed more substance. We got our first look at the Baron, some gameplay snippets of Crane parkouring through forests, driving the 4x4, and unleashing his beast mode powers. There was also a creepy sequence in the Baron's laboratory with some new soldier virals that he's created. Basically, regular zombies weren't bad enough, I guess. The general vibe from the footage is definitely leaning more into horror than Dying Light 2 did. It's giving me original Dying Light meets Resident Evil Village energy, and I'm absolutely here for it. So is Dying Light the Beast worth getting excited for? Based on everything we know so far, I'd say yes. It's bringing back a beloved protagonist, exploring a new environment, adding cool new powers, and focusing on what made the original Dying Light so special. That perfect blend of empowering gameplay and genuine horror. Plus, the shorter length means it might actually be a game most of us can finish without taking a sabbatical from work. The fact that it's being developed as a passion project that remotivated the team at Techland is also a good sign. Games made with enthusiasm usually turn out better than those rushed to meet shareholder expectations. And finally, as someone who's put a lot of time into the franchise, I'm curious to see what happened to Kyle Crane. That cliffhanger from the following has been living rent-free in my head for years now. That's everything we know about Dying Light the Beast so far. What are you most excited for? Drop a comment below. I'm particularly interested to hear your theories about how Crane survived the end of the following. If you enjoyed this video, drop kick that like button harder than Crane kicks zombies off rooftops. Subscribe for more coverage as we get closer to the summer 2025 release, and hit that notification button to never miss an update. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, nights are always darker in Dying Light. Later, survivors.